try a bit of YouTube live and share a few things on here, which I haven't tried before. Trying something new, so don't expect the perfect video, but I'll share a few things and let's see what comes out. So this week I've been reading a couple of books. One of them is One Small Step. One Small Step Can Change Your Life by Dr. Robert Mauer. Excellent book, and it's came out quite a while ago actually, and it's got excellent reviews online on Amazon and other places. So do check it out. One Small Step Can Change Your Life. And I was thinking about how to apply that model to mindfulness. So that book is based on a philosophy called Kaizen, and Kaizen, the word Zen means change, and Kai means good. So it was a term that was, I think, first kind of used and developed by Toyota. And so the story is that at around the end of World War II, Toyota and a lot of the other manufacturers were really struggling, and an expert from America called Dr. Edward Deming came along from America to Japan to advise them. And the advice he gave was based on, rather than making big, massive changes, to focus on really small changes. So what they were doing before, and this was the standard thing, is when cars were being manufactured, they'd be on the conveyor belt, and if any mistakes made, people just kept going. They kept carrying on as usual and hoping that people would fix it at the end. So there'd be people at the end of the conveyor belt that would fix it. But he was suggesting, rather than that, why don't we make smaller changes? And one result of that was that all the employees had this kind of cord that they could pull, and they pull the cord and that stops the whole conveyor belt, and they fix that small problem. And small problem after small problem, they kept fixing, and gradually the reliability of Toyota went from being probably one of the worst in the world to one of the best in the world, and it became the wealthiest car company in the world, surpassing the whole US and then everyone else as well. So it works in industry, and so this writer, Dr. Robert Mauer, who was a psychologist at UCLA in Washington, started thinking, can we apply this to people's personal lives? And he started researching success and well-being, and found that actually, yes, there's people in your everyday world who have actually huge changes in their personal lives through small actions, and we're talking really small actions, but done consistently. So one beautiful example he gives is one guy who suffered from, he actually was a businessman, and he'd been quite by himself making these small changes in his business. He'd grown his business to a multi-million-pound business in the catalogue industry, but then he got rheumatoid arthritis and he was suffering from huge amounts of pain. And his doctor, he ended up in a wheelchair, and his doctor said, you know, there's no point you doing any exercise, do not exercise. But he didn't take that advice. He said to himself, I'm just going to do a really small action. The one thing I need to do is just get out of bed in the morning, and when I manage to get out of bed in the morning, I'm going to give myself some praise. So he got out of bed in the morning and he says, like, "Atta go, John, well done." And he built it up from there. So then he went to the gym, but he didn't actually do any exercise in the gym. He just went to the gym and he praised himself for that, or he stood on the treadmill and praised himself for that. Fast forward a few years, amazingly, he became a world champion bodybuilder, doing these small, consistent actions and giving himself small praise for it as well. So this shows you just the power of taking small actions on a daily basis, the power of Kaizen. And so for those of you who are interested in living a more conscious life, a more mindful life, in a way mindfulness is the essence of Kaizen, isn't it? It's about taking small actions, and the smallest ultimate moment is this moment now. So it's about living in this very moment now and being fully present and being fully mindful. And so ultimately the practice of mindfulness is the practice of Kaizen, being really present. And it makes me laugh sometimes about how people plan to be mindful in the future, because in mindfulness the future doesn't exist. There's only this here and now, and the idea is to be able to be really present, to be really here, and to really enjoy this moment. Like right now you're watching this video, being fully present with your body, with your breathing, or just with what I'm saying and reflecting on that. That is mindfulness. It's really, it's not complicated, it's not difficult. It doesn't mean that you need to do hours of meditation. It's about being present in this very moment now. having a little conscious breath, conscious smile. It's these small actions, these small things that we can do that actually make a difference. So that's just a little bit, just to give you a little bit of flavor about what Kaizen is and how it kind of connects to mindfulness. So I would urge you to have a little go today. So if you want to apply the philosophy of Kaizen, the Japanese philosophy of taking small actions on a consistent basis and giving yourself small rewards, you can try that right now. Just gently smiling for a moment, taking a conscious breath, and then rewarding yourself by just saying, yay, I did it, well done me, and praising yourself for that small success. And it starts to build up. You get what a fantastic researcher called BJ Fogg, based at Stanford, says is you get success momentum. So you just have a small success, like just managing to smile, just managing to breathe consciously, having a little stretch, doing something for your well-being actually leads to a much bigger change in the future. Because it kind of builds a momentum. It's like a train that starts going, and one thing leads to another, and before you know it, you're feeling better. You're making a difference not only to your own life but to other people's lives too. That's how I've got to end up doing this YouTube live. Just started with a very short few seconds videos on Instagram, then other things, and then an Instagram live. And so now I'm always wanting to try something different and making a little positive improvement each time I do that. And if I can do it, you can definitely do it too. So think about what you can do, what small changes you can make. Taking one step. That beautiful, overused, but very powerful quote from the Tao Te Ching. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And that 1,000 miles is that big change that you're hoping perhaps in the future, perhaps scared about as well, because the fear kind of kicks in with that. But rather than thinking about that huge big change in the future, you just look down, look up, and you make that small change. You make that tiny step, and that small change can actually start to accumulate, because it's absolutely true, right? No matter how far you want to travel, you just need to take a small step. But we underestimate the power of the small steps. So take tiny, break things down into something really small. Just the last thing I want to share about why small steps are so powerful is because of the way our brain works. So in the brain, we've got a part of the brain called the amygdala. And amygdala actually means almond. It's a very small part of our brain, but it's responsible for four things: fight or flight, food, and fornication. So those are the four kind of core things that it's responsible for. But when we start making big changes in our lives, the amygdala kicks in, the fear center kicks in, and we're not able to sustain that change. So what do? We break it down into smaller steps. And if you break it down to something really small, the fear center doesn't kick in, and you're able to sustain that change for a longer time. It's easier and more doable. So you can bypass your fear system, get your cortex engaged, the front part of your brain, through this approach of Kaizen for mindfulness. Thanks a lot for watching, and be really interested to hear in your comments what you think about this, and any ideas of future videos that you'd like to learn more about. Thanks a lot for watching, and bye for now. By the way, yeah, most people on these YouTube channels, they say please subscribe, don't they? Like it if you liked it. Do subscribe if you would like to hear more videos and hear more of this kind of stuff. Yeah, and if I do write a blog post every Wednesday on shamshardina.com, so do check